Whoa, before this video even begins, I notice most of my viewers aren't even subscribed, so what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos, and also smash the like button for good measure. Anyway, enjoy the video! From the time of recording this video, we are 2 weeks away until we find out who will be crowned King or Queen of Junior Eurovision 2022. But what is my personal top 16? Let's find out together. Roll titles. Good morning, afternoon, evening everybody, I am Jamie Jew. Welcome back to a brand new video where this time in this particular video, of course, I will be making my own personal list in terms of what I think is the best / the worst. Well, maybe not so much the worst, because actually all of them are pretty good this year, aren't they, in their own unique tropes. I mean, none of them are atrociously bad, that is for sure. None of them are really bad per se. In fact, all of them are pretty decent. Even I agree with the majority of the fan base. All of them are pretty decent in their own unique way. But so this, as a result, it was a little bit of a tough list to put together as to what were the rest of the positions rather than as opposed to my top personal 3. But that being said, I have found a list. I've, more to the point, put the whole list together of my whole top 16 for this year's Junior Eurovision Song Contest. So without any further ado, why don't we dive into that right now? Let's go! And of course, naturally, with any list, we have to start at the bottom of the barrel, which is unfortunate for all of these countries. But in terms of my personal 16th, that would be Serbia, which of course is Katarina Savage with the song Svet bez granica. Look, don't get me wrong, this is actually not a bad little, again, this is, none of these songs I should point out is bad. This just happens to be my weakest one. And while the song itself would, not fall out of place in terms of like an actual adult Eurovision Song Contest song, and she performs it very well, does Katarina. There's one thing that's making it very poor and very weak in my opinion. The old trombone. I like that. Of all the instruments to use for this particular one, why a trombone? I do not get that. It does not match the song whatsoever. That's probably the only wink link I've got in regards to Serbia's song this year. But otherwise, if they use like another type of instrument, like as I said, the flute or the thing, and I know I called it a trumpet in my last video, but it's the trombone. I had to get that right. But anyway, if they use like a flute or anything that would be, kind of kind to the ears rather than. But yeah, Serbia, I'm afraid you're last in this particular occasion. In terms of my personal list, I mean, it might not be the case for any others. Right, number 15 on this list, second to last, and not getting the wooden spoon, is Albania. Albania being Ketlin Gata, I think so you pronounce it. Again, I need to get these pronunciations right, with the song Pakes DL. Now, it's not a bad little number, I'm not gonna lie. It's quite peaceful and silent, and she does perform it really well. I will hold my hand up, she does perform it really well, especially in the music video and on the national final night. I got confused with certain things. She's a very good singer. I just think she's been given a bit of a weak song, if you ask me. She will perform it very well, don't you worry about it. Caitlin will absolutely perform her absolute heart out. I just think it's one of those that is kind of forgettable in terms of the long run of the contest compared to so many of the other songs. On another year, it might have done a bit better and everything, but it's just a fairly little weak number. But that being said, good luck to you, Albania. I can't see why you shouldn't do well with this, considering you have got a few, other countries around you to help you out. I just think it's going to get a little bit lost. Number 14, another song I think is going to get fairly lost, partly because of the genre, but also the fact it didn't really build up the hype enough for this particular chorus of a song, and that is Portugal at number 14, my personal 14, with Nicolas Alves and Anos 70. Don't get me wrong, I like the rock elements where it sort of builds up very nicely and everything. It's just doesn't really get onto the chorus very well, if you ask me, especially with the boom boom bam and everything. Now, I like rock personally. I would have probably put this a bit more up there. I just feel it could have elevated itself a lot more. But don't get me wrong, it's not a bad entry whatsoever. It could bring a surprise. you know, you never know. It's just, I don't know, something missing for me. But that being said, good luck to Portugal, nevertheless. At number 13 would be North Macedonia, Lara featuring Jovan and Irina with Zvotote Pred Mene. Don't get me wrong, it's actually not a bad little sort of sort of fairly jolly number, but I don't know, there's just some elements into the jolliness of it all that I feel could have been elevated a lot more. And I'm not a fan of rap, as you know. Okay, there's not much rap in this particular number, I get that, but I just feel that it didn't really require it with this kind of caliber of song. I think it sort of turned it down a little bit. It kind of put a step back for me, if you ask me. But that being said, I kind of enjoyed it a bit more than Portugal and Albania. That's something. But that being said, I think it might stand out with its, you know, unique staging. I think it will have some unique staging, but that's about it. I think people will get put off with the rap, unfortunately. Number 12 will be Malta on my personal list. Gaia Gambusa with Diamonds in the Skies. I don't know. A lot of people do like this one, as far as I'm aware, but I'm just not getting behind it. Don't get me wrong, it's got a nice sort of chorus riff going. It goes do 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 do, and Gaia is actually a really good performer, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of mad elements in this, given the music videos. I don't know. I just feel, again, it's nothing detrimental. I just feel it's a little bit weak for me. I just feel it's a little bit, it's something holding it back to go push up there. So for me, I just simply cannot get the vibe around it. Don't get me wrong, again, it's not a bad song. None of these are hardly bad at all. I just feel it's a little bit weak. One song, though, I think could be a lot stronger, and probably is in a lot of people's eyes is strong, but for me, I'm in the minority. Number 11 is Ireland. Ireland being, of course, Sophie Lennon with the song Solas. Now, don't get me wrong, this is a very nice little Disney number, and will get a lot of kids sort of, I don't know, get sort of let it go vibes with this one. I don't know. I just feel it might get a bit unlucky in terms of like the rest of the numbers, and for me personally, and that's the only reason why I put this just outside the top 10 is I feel there are some slight better songs that will stand out, not only with its studio studio listening, but I think will also stand out on the night itself. But that being said, I don't see why this shouldn't do well. I can see at least getting the top 10 position. I know I put it just outside my personal 10, but that's how I see it. But otherwise, I don't really have much else to comment. It's a nice little Disney-esque kind of number, but yeah, there are better songs. So into the top 10 we go, and at number 10 is Kazakhstan for me personally. David Charlene with Sha'ana, Mother Earth. This is actually a fairly decent power ballad number from a young little kid who is singing his heart out. I think maybe it's slightly overpowered with the music video, but that being said, you do get some little mini chills down your spine when you do hear it. For me, it's not personally as quality enough as others, but that being said, I cannot see why this shouldn't do well. I'll put it in my personal top 10. It's guaranteed top 10 if you ask me. Might fight for the top 5, but for me right now, I think it's just about the 10th best song because of a little bit of a tingle. At number 9, and possibly this is quite a surprise for a lot of people, especially for me, that is special because I wasn't even planning on putting this nowhere near my top 10, but this is my number 9, and that is Ukraine. Nezlamna by Zlata Ziunka, I think I pronounce it, or more to the point, Unbreakable. I mean, okay, look, let's get this thing out and done with. I don't expect this to win, but let's face it, with a song called Unbreakable and talking about you know what, I mean, is this going to win? I kind of hope not, but that being said, it is quite memorable. I don't know why, and I really wasn't expecting to put this, as I say, anywhere near the top 10, because when I looked at the previous national final video, I thought to myself, meh. But that being said, it's definitely a bit more memorable than the previous songs I put on my list, which even, again, I am completely surprised about. But it is a very memorable, catchy riff in terms of the chorus. It goes do 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 do. So for me, I can see what it could do well aside aside from the obvious. But hey, listen, it's in my personal top 10, it's my 9th, so meh. At number 8 is Poland with Laura to the Moon. Da 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 dee. It's basically the riff again. Da 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 da. Oh, it goes ooh, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I like this one. It's very catchy, very neat. Got good bass vibes going. She performs it very well. A lot of dancers going on about and all the rest of it. I can see this doing relatively well. You know, to my personal 8th place, but I mean, I could have put it higher, but you know, this is again my personal tastes. But good luck to Poland. I really think you could do well, at least top 10 in my opinion. At number 7, that's all I can really ask about the French. But it's Sandro and Umaman for France. This is very, very, very catchy. And I wasn't even expecting a sort of swing and a jazzy number to be this high on my list. But hey, it is. So, Umaman, I like it. It's a very nice, catchy little number. Okay, it's French language and I'm like, you know, I don't really understand it much, but that being said, he performs it extremely well. I can see him doing sort of like all the rest of it on stage. I can see this potentially doing really well. I mean, it might, but you know, I actually know what. I don't really personally know if it will do well, but right now, France is my number 7. And literally just after that, in terms of the alphabetical order from all of the entries, my number 6 is Georgia. Miriam Bigvava with I Believe. This is a mad little song. But in terms of when you hear it by the studio sounding, you wouldn't have thought it would be mad. But it's going to be mad if the music video is anything to go by. But I like it. I like it quite a lot. It is captivating. To a T. It's just one of them ones you can't look away from or can't not listen to. Do you know what I'm saying? You get captivated by it as soon as you even listen to it. And I, for one, think Georgia will once again do really well. I can see this at least finishing top 5, even though I put it in my personal 6. There are other reasons why I put that in my personal 6. One of them being, of course, being my number 5, which, surprisingly, to I think a lot of people, is Italy. Chanel Delecta with Blah Blah Blah, I think is a little bit more madder than you think, and is very, very, very catchy in terms of its chorus. Blah, 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 valore, valore. I mean, it's got a little, you know, she's saying valore, which is flying high, so, you know. But that being said, I like this performance. I like her a lot. I think she's quite attractive, I'm not going to lie. But that being said, she performs it very well. The whole bowl head thing will be very captivating for me. And I can see this maybe doing well, but then again, it will also potentially get lost if it's in a bad running order. So I don't know whether to put it personally in terms of where I think it's going to end up. But that being said, number 5 for me personally is a fair game. So well done, Italy. Into number 4, which is España, Spain, Carlos Higuez with Señorita. It's just the typical Spanish vibes. I'm going I just like it. I really like that sort of vibe. Okay, it's a lot of typical Spanish dancing going on and everything, but I get the vibeness of it. I get the quintessential Spanish, and it is quintessentially Spanish. Well done, Spain. You deserve at least 4th place on my list. Now, will it do well? Again, depends on the running order, but I can't see why this shouldn't do well. Spain, you are up there, if I'm not perfectly honest with you. And you deserve so. I mean, the vibes are just there. But into my top 3 now. I'm sure you know which countries I have yet to mention. But my number 3, which I will reveal, is... It's going to be painful for some. Armenia, the hosts, but I must admit, Dance by Nair, or Nare, I think it's pronounced Nare, my apologies, but I do like this number. I get the vibes, I get the hype around it, I like it a lot in terms of its quintessential modernistic pop style, which will not look out of place whatsoever in the adult Eurovision Song Contest. And I bet you any money, if this was an adult song, this would be, you know, blown of all proportions, especially with the dance break, which no doubt a lot of people will go for. But that being said, this is a song contest, not a dance contest. Now, I get the hype, don't get me wrong, and I will admit I think it is probably one of the better ones, and I put this number 3 on my list for a very good reason. I just don't see it actually winning compared to what a lot of people will say. I don't know why, but that being said, it is in my personal top 3. But there you go. It will do well. Don't you worry about it. Armenia will do well in terms of actually hosting it. Hosting the contest well and performing very well. But on to my final 2. I think you know what is left. But my number 2, which I will reveal for now, is... Get ready for la festa. La 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 la. Everything's perfecto. Whoa, the Netherlands Luna La Festa. It is beyond kid-like catchiness. But you cannot forget those vibes. You cannot forget the lyrics. You cannot forget the beat. Especially, actually, the whole music in itself is like different in every which way, which is very unique about it. It is, you've got like a completely different song in terms of the verse, where it goes sort of slow down a little bit, and then it builds up in a boom, 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 for the pre-chorus, and then it goes boom, 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 especially with a little trumpet, it goes boom, 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 boom. But rounding off my whole entire list is, of course, my personal number 1. Not surprising, I guess, in the slightest, given my slight biasness. It is the United Kingdom, Freya Sky with Lose My Head. You take what you want it. You can't better boom, baby dooski. I need to learn the lyrics a little bit more. You get what you want it. Your kind should have come when I wanted. No, I can't hide from the truth. I lose my head over you. It's mainly the bass element of it, and the bass element which goes boom, 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 is quintessentially British, and that is what I purely love about it. The lyrics are a little bit hard to follow, I'm not going to lie, and somehow I managed to get through in terms of the chorus, but that's what will make it stand out and unique compared to the rest of the competition. And I really am so excited that finally the United Kingdom are actually going to have a proper shot at winning a competition. And this is absolutely a proper shot because a lot of people do like this. But do I think it's actually going to win? Well, you're going to have to find out in another video. I will save that for another time. But yeah, that is my personal top 16 list in terms of all of the Junior Eurovision entries for 2022. But never mind what I think. Please do let me know what you think in the comments below. What is your personal top 16 from all of this year's competition? Who's your highest? Who's your lowest? You know the drill by now. And also, you know the drill by now as well to subscribe for more of my Junior Eurovision juicy goodness. Smash the like button for good measure if you did like this video. And ring the bell to get notified about my latest videos is over there. And as always, I will catch you in the next video. Bye bye everybody. Bye bye.